Welcome to episode 5. Count it, 5. Yay!
5. What's going on?
Hey, to the collective. I'm Michelle Turner. That's Anthony Ant-Man of Captain
Entertainment, Captain Brands. Yep.
Captain Brands.
Yep.
We're going to do something a little different tonight. We're going to talk sports. And usually with the collective, what I try to do is have a little bit of everything in the show. But since I have not gotten the opportunity to talk sports the whole time I've been on the air, it's been killing me. So I finally got somebody I can talk sports with. So thank you, Ant-Man, for coming on this evening.
Oh, you're welcome. You're welcome.
So, and welcome to the collective.
Thank you. It's nice to be here.
The big story of the day.
Mm-hmm.
Mets.
Oh,
and their second baseman.
Oh, yeah. Robinson Cano, right?
Yeah. Cano forfeited a $24 million contract because this is his second time getting busted for enhancement drugs. What do you think? Should he stay? Should he go? Because it seems to be two schools of thought. There is one school that says, okay, it's a free year. We got new management in the Mets.
Right. New ownership.
Let him stay that year. Let him prove himself. But there's a school of thought that says later for it. Get rid of him. This is his second time. You know, he's still got money on the Mariners contract. So why keep him? What do you think?
The one thing about baseball is, I mean, when you look at baseball history, baseball has always used performance enhancement drugs. I hate to say it. Baseball players been using it since generations, and it's been something that they've been using on the regular. So, you know, we had the eras in the 90s where they had all the performance enhancement drug players.
Yeah.
We had players right now that can't get into the Hall of Fame, like Barry Bonds.
Right.
Barry Bonds is a player that should have been in the Hall of Fame by now. When he was skinny Barry Bonds, he should have been in the Hall of Fame. Then when he got big Barry Bonds, I mean, that's when he broke Babe Ruth's record. And all
right.
That.
But that's also when he was performance enhancement.
Yeah,
right?
But it was never proven. But during that era, everybody was using that. You know, they was using performance enhancement drugs. Jose Canseco said it. You know, a baseball player for the Oakland Athletics.
Yeah. And they were heavy with it. The A's were heavy with performance enhancement.
They said Ricky Henderson didn't do it. He said Ricky Henderson didn't do it. He was just diesel already. So
he didn't need it per se.
Yeah, he didn't need it. He didn't really need it. So my whole thing is with performance enhancement drugs now, why are you banning these guys 160 some games when in the history of baseball it's been used? So, you know, penalize him with money, take his money away. You know, say, hey, they still get paid.
Which they are taking his money away.
But he don't get game checks, but he still get that signing bonus, that incentive. He just don't get game checks.
Right.
Game checks for a baseball player is a couple $1 million. So yeah, I mean, I can see that. I can see that being 160 some games. You lose $2 million a game. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
I can understand that.
But according to what I read, it seems as if he still has money from the Mariners. Like there's still 2 years left that has to be paid out of a $48 million contract.
Right.
It's like, I know that he hit 315 this year. I think that's the record that he holds right now. That's his season. But is anybody worth almost $50 million? You know, it's just crazy to me. The money that's spent for baseball players. And I know this is a sidebar, but it just seems that I know NBA players make a lot, right?
They fully guaranteed. Yep. Yeah.
And baseball players also make a lot.
Yeah.
But it just seems that over time, and it's true in any sport, really, over time, the athletes can't perform up to the level that they were signed for. I mean, when you look at NBA, and again, I'm sidebarring here, but when you look at NBA, you think about the LeBrons, Jordan. Dr. J wasn't making that kind of money, but Dr. J, Isaiah Thomas.
No, they wasn't making money like that.
They weren't making this kind of money. But you just have to wonder if you're signing somebody for $48 million over X amount of years, and he's already got the reputation of taking performance enhancement drugs.
Right.
Shouldn't there be some close monitoring involved?
And that's the, as you can see, this is the second time getting tested. So
yeah.
They probably doing random tests on him on a regular basis. So he's one of the players that they just out the blue, hey,
yeah.
Test. So,
but you would think, right, that it would almost be a situation where somebody would be living with him, or at least monitoring him to the point where he doesn't have the opportunity to even breathe and take these drugs.
Right.
And it just, you got the random testing, and that was probably part of this contract. I didn't see anything that didn't say it was.
Right.
But it just seems to me that this is an investment, and that's where I was going with the money, right? This is an investment. So if this is your investment, you should have a little bit more say-so in what that investment looks like.
And you got to remember, new ownership. So they really he's really looking at the contracts right now because he's a new owner.
Right.
He just put $4 billion into the team.
Into the Mets, yeah.
So he's looking at, wait a minute, let me make sure all these players are clean.
Right.
Before I put this $54 million, $45 million contract on the table. So he's cleaning house right now because of all the money he spent just to buy the team.
Right.
Yeah, so.
And, they were really kind of building their team around him.
Right.
To the point where they were really starting to think about what other players they could trade and bring in.
Right.
So it's in a way, it's a sad situation. But on the other hand, I think that the Mets will keep him. I don't see them trading him. I don't see them getting rid of him.
All right, because they still got to pay him.
Right.
It's a fully guaranteed contract.
Right.
So, why would you get rid of him? Suspend him for the year, bring him back, and let him do what he's been doing. Right now he's on track to be a Hall of Famer.
Yeah.
He's not going to be a Hall of Famer due to the fact he took steroids or whatever performance enhancement drugs, but he has the stats to be a Hall of Famer. Just like Barry Bonds, he got the stats to be a Hall of Famer. Roger Clemens. These are players that should have been in the Hall of Fame by now. Yeah,
because I remember when Roger Clemens was hitting it out the park. They used to just the All-Star game, it was like, just let him do the home run derby. I remember that clear as day.
Yeah.
And when he got busted, I was so disappointed. And I'm not necessarily a baseball fan. I watch baseball, World Series.
Right. Yeah, me too.
And All-Star game.
Yeah.
Right. I don't have a team. I'm not fully invested in any of that. But
that's the American sport. That's the thing about baseball. I just don't understand how they make, because we're not watching it, but millions of people are watching it, and millions of people go to. That's the thing about the COVID situation that just happened, the pandemic. How is baseball still making this type of money? Because they're still going crazy signing players $250 million deals, and that's baseball. What's his name? A-Rod, $500 million deal twice.
Yeah.
He got two $500 million deals. Well, no, he got a $350 million and then a $500 million. So he made almost $1 billion in baseball.
Unbelievable. But they had the fan base. I don't know what they're going to do to make up revenue for this year and maybe the year to come, but I don't know, I don't even know how television rights are being affected at this point.
That's where the money at, the television, the TV deals. That's where all
right.
TV deals. That's where the money's at. Because, baseball signed deals like $10 billion for 10 years. So, and they do revenue sharing. So, if they do a $10, $20 million deal for TV, every team gets like $2 billion to play with.
So, and that, very much can be funneled into giving folks the money that they're looking for as far as contracts are concerned.
That's where the money comes from. The TV deals.
Yeah.
Stadiums just pays the staff. The stadium money, the concessions, that pays the staff. Other than that, everything else is players. That's where the players make their money. Jerseys, merchandise, and TV deals.
Yes.
That's how they make $1 billion.
It's unbelievable. And, it'll be interesting to see how they treat Cano once this season's over.
Right.
Because we got a short season. So it'll be interesting to see, A, how they're monitoring him, B, whether they're going to trade him or keep him. And, looking around on the internet, listening to Mike Wilborn, Wilborn is of the school of just get rid of the cat. Doesn't mean anything, doesn't have any real, because his thing is he doesn't have any real dedication or loyalty to the game. And so he did it with the other team. So why would he not do it somewhere else? So get rid of him.
Mm-hmm.
So
I don't understand why. Me personally, I wouldn't put that type of money, put my money in jeopardy for,
Do you think it's in jeopardy if you get rid of him?
Well, it's endorsements, not just counting his payroll money. You also got to look at endorsements because baseball players get big endorsements.
Right.
And then on top of that, that's the money that you really losing. Core your money. Them players a lot of them players spend more than what they make.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Right. So they have they have a mistress, they have girlfriends, they have a wife, and then they have like 20 kids and houses all over the place, and then they have cars all over the place. So
gotta take care of the family.
They gotta take care of the family.
Mama, big bro.
It's a lot.
Everybody else.
So they spend a lot of money. So they have to go out and make sure they don't abuse the money or lose the money.
Yeah. So speaking of which, we are in week 10 of the NFL.
Yes.
And it has been a heck of a week. This has been highlight week almost.
Right.
Some of these games have been fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
I am not a Patriots fan. I live in New England. I am a self-confessed Eagles fan.
Okay.
And that goes back to the days of Randall Cunningham. That's how far back I go with the Eagles.
My brother's an Eagle fan.
Is he?
A diehard Eagle fan. He's been an Eagle fan since we was since he was 11, 12, Eagle fan.
So we suffer together.
Oh yeah. He's an Eagle fan, definitely.
But my point is, I live in New England. I've never rooted for the Patriots because the sports writers in New England made such a big deal out of him. And there's no question. Tom Brady as the quarterback and Bill Belichick as their coach put together some fantastic wins, great seasons, championship, Hall of Fame stuff, no doubt about it.
Oh, yeah.
But it was sickening to me after a while because it was like, we got the Buffalo Bills. Hello. We got the Giants, even though poor New York.
You got the Jets.
Got the Jets. Same thing. Poor New York.
A lot of teams up there. New England. You got a lot of teams up there.
Yeah, a lot of teams.
Yeah. East
but
Coast,
they always focused on Brady.
Right.
And that made me. Ugh. But these past few games, I have been rooting for Cam Newton because I want Cam Newton to prove that he is all they said he could be.
Yeah.
It almost seems as if they're waiting for him to fail. And now he's come alive in these past few games. So their game this Sunday, or was it Monday? Was it Sunday? Monday? Was great.
Yeah, it was Monday. It was no, it was Sunday night. It was Sunday.
It was Sunday night, right? They were Sunday night football.
Yep, Sunday night football.
They beat the Ravens.
But it was a monsoon.
Yeah, it was a tough game to play.
It was a tough game. Yeah, you couldn't throw that ball. I mean, you couldn't see out.
You couldn't get. Yeah, it was hard to catch. Yeah, and there were a couple of plays where folks, you could see it from different angles. They tried to grab the ball, scooted down, or just as they had it, it kind of scooted out of the, squeezed between their hands and scooted out. There were a couple of plays like that.
Oh, yeah.
But I think Cam really showed and is beginning to show who he is as a quarterback. I mean, he led them down that field. There was no stopping. He used the clock the way that he was supposed to.
Mm-hmm.
He had really monster throws. I mean, the receivers really worked very hard for him. But I will say, toward the end of the game, they got better in their protection of him. Because in the beginning, it was like, good Lord, are they trying to kill him? I guess that's the mom in me, right? Oh my gosh, don't hurt him,
Oh yeah.
But I think that Cam Newton is finally coming into his own. And I think he needed a coach like Bill Belichick.
Right.
I think that was important for him to have because he wasn't getting it in Carolina. He got fan love in Carolina, but he didn't have the coaching that he needed to really elevate himself. And I can see the difference just in this past season alone, him being in New England, being under Belichick, really getting the plays that he needs to exhibit his talent. Right. So I'm happy for him. I was really surprised. But Ben Roethlisberger is somebody who is a true pro in his own right. I believe they were undefeated, right?
Yeah, they're still undefeated. Yeah, they 9-0. I think they're 9-0 now.
So I think it was a great game for Cam Newton. And I think he's got a lot more to show us. And I'm hoping that they can protect him long enough so that he doesn't get hurt, that he's not out for a full season. So we really can see what he can do. And he runs the ball. That's the other thing.
Yeah, that's the reckon. That's the issue.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, quite honestly, it is.
I'm a Seahawks fan, so I've been a Seahawks fan since
I was
8 years old. And my quarterback, I don't know what's going on with him right now. Maybe because he got that podcast going on. But tune in, make sure you watch his podcast. But I don't know what's going on with him.
Well, it looks like, he's getting the protection and stuff that he needs. But it's almost like his focus has been.
It's a mental break. It's a mental break. I mean, he had 20 yards to run. He threw the ball to the end zone to get an interception. That's his second week in a row. He threw the ball into the end zone and got an interception. I just can't believe it.
Yeah, because he's not that guy.
No.
He's not that dude. He's pretty focused and he's pretty direct. The one thing I can respect about Russ Wilson and people like Drew Brees is that they see that field and they're focused. They know where they're going.
Yeah, it slows up.
You try to. Yeah, they know where they're going.
Yeah, they slow. Everything is in slow motion to them.
Right.
So they can slow the game down just to make throws or make the right play or call the right play.
Mm-hmm.
They know every single angle where the receiver should be.
Right.
They know everything.
Right.
And for him to have 8 turnovers in the last 3 weeks, I just can't believe it.
Yeah, that's
he lost
not
the
like
MVP. Like
yeah.
You lost the MVP just because Mahomes are not Kansas City. Mahomes is not going anywhere now.
Oh no. Oh no.
He's gonna have 500 yards passing, 10 touchdowns. I mean, he's not going anywhere. He's gonna probably get a second MVP this year.
Yeah, for
Russell
sure.
Wilson might get 1 vote this year. Hopefully. I wish
he will. I think he'll do more than that, but he's not going to beat out Mahomes.
No, I don't see it. I think he's
having a heck of a year.
Even though I think he's going to break. I think Russell Wilson's going to break Peyton Manning touchdown record for a single year. I think he's going to break it.
I can agree with that. Yeah. I can see that.
50. I think he'll get 50. I'm going to say 52 touchdowns this year.
We'll see. How many more weeks do we have? 4?
No,
5?
we got probably about.
It can't be 2.
We got like 6-7 weeks.
Okay.
Yeah, we're going into week 11.
Yeah, we're going into week 11 because I'm getting hit in my fantasy football.
Yeah, we're going into week 11, so we got 6 more weeks.
Yeah, I'm I'm getting eaten up right now in my league. I went from 7 to 9 to 10. Mm-hmm. I think I'm back at 11 now out of 12. So I'm getting.
And I think he got 30. He got 32 touchdowns now. I think already passing touchdowns. So he might break it. He only needs what? 14?
Yeah, he might get there. That's enough time.
Yeah, 14. You need 14 more touchdowns. You average what? 3 touchdowns a game for the next. Yeah, he's gonna have a game where he give 5 touchdowns, or because you got the Jets. We got the Jets coming up soon.
Yeah,
we got the Jets. So hopefully,
and bless Jet fans. I think Jet fans and Knicks fans are probably the most loyal people on the planet. Because I mean, their seasons just both go like this. They just spiral down. I think the last time we probably saw a good Jets team was with Joe Namath.
You might be right. Let me look. I need to look that up real quick. But you might be right. Tebow tried. The thing to do. I mean, to me, and I'm not really. I watch the Giants, but I'm not a Giants fan. But it just seemed that at one point they should have let the quarterback Manning go to the Jets. And before he left the league, so at least the Jets could get a couple of wins, right?
And have a good season.
But I think they're going for that number 1 pick. They're going for my guy from Clemson. They're going for him. So yeah, they're trying to get that quarterback. So yeah, they know what they're doing. They're tanking right now.
Yeah. Well, I hope that the Jets will build.
Yeah, they need it.
It's time for them to do that. It's time for them to really take a good look at their team and build, because, at least the past 15 years, it's been an abomination. They just don't have it. They don't have it.
Like the Dolphins is my other thing. Like the Dolphins is one of the sleeper teams people got to watch out for this year. The Dolphins are real good. They're gonna be real good.
Yeah.
Sleeper. Yeah,
they played a good game the other day.
Yeah, they still undefeated with the quarterback. What's his name? Tula.
Yeah, with Tula.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
So listen, we got a break here.
Okay.
When we come back, we'll wrap up this little bit of conversation on the NFL and move into the NBA.
All right.
All right.
Get it.
Ant-Man is my guest on episode 5 of The Collective. We'll be right back. We're back. We're talking sports on The Collective. Good evening. My name is Michelle Turner, and my guest is Ant-Man of Captom Management. Did I get it right?
Yep.
Captom Brands and Management. Thank you so much for being here, being my guest. I can talk sports. sports.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
So
Dream. This is my dream.
Well, you can come back.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
All right. How's that? You got an open invitation once a month to come back and talk sports.
Okay. Okay. All right.
All right.
Write it down.
I'm gonna hold you to it.
Put a contract together.
I'm gonna hold you to it.
Okay.
All right. So we were talking about the Dolphins before we left for the break.
Right.
Now, did they who they play? Chargers?
Yep. They played the Chargers. And
that was a good game.
It was a good one. Yeah.
It was a good game.
Good game.
I was impressed with their quarterback, Miami's quarterback.
Yep, Tula.
Yep.
Yep.
He really can move. I'm always impressed with a quarterback who can see down the field. Because, okay, granted, that's their job.
Right.
That's what they're supposed to be able to do.
That's why they get all the money.
Right. You're supposed to be able to look, route, pass, right?
Right. Yeah.
But how many of them can really, truly do that? You think about the league.
Many.
It's not many. And so when you start to think about how the game is played, especially in the last 3 to 4 minutes of the last quarter, fourth quarter, you got those 2 to 3 minutes that are crucial. And when a quarterback can march a team downfield, that says a lot in those last 3 to 4 minutes. That says a lot, not only about the coaching that quarterback is receiving, but the fact that the quarterback can follow through,
right,
get it done in those 3 to 4 minutes.
Yeah.
And I believe that Miami's quarterback has the potential of being one of those people.
Right.
He absolutely has that potential.
You're right.
I think
the
I was saying earlier about Cam Newton, same thing.
Mm-hmm.
If you can move a team those last 3 to 4 minutes, because that was one of the things that Tom Brady was known to do, right?
Right. Yep.
In the clutch.
Mm-hmm.
To get you down there, to get you either in field goal range or touchdown range. One to two. So I see that in Miami's quarterback.
Right.
It's there.
My whole thing with this, I call these the next generation of quarterbacks. You got Tula, you got Wilson, he's a little in that tier, a little above them, but he's still that next generation.
Yeah.
You got Murray from Arizona.
Right.
Let me think of you got Kyler Murray, you got Tula, you got Russell Wilson, and even Cam is like one of them leaders up in that next. Then you got Mahomes.
Yes.
You got Jackson for Baltimore. So you got all these next generation of quarterbacks, and they're not your typical quarterbacks. They're not the ones that the prototype that they had in the 80s and the 90s. And when I talk about that, I'm talking about the race, the look.
Right.
It's not, just looking at it, because the typical quarterback was a Tom Brady, a Peyton Manning, Dan Marino. These was the quarterbacks. They pocket passers. They not gonna run.
Right.
But the next generation, you got players that come. You can't even come to the NFL unless you're a scrambler, or you're not just gonna be able to just be in the pocket. You got to be able to move around.
Yeah, you got to be able to move around, and a lot of those guys run the ball.
Right.
And that's different for the NFL. We're just beginning to get used to that and notice that there are 4 to 5 quarterbacks that do run the ball. They're not afraid to take it as long as they feel like, they're going to make it down.
Yeah. But then you also got them where they'll step back and take that pass. They'll take the pass over the run. Russell Wilson proved that the other day when he took the pass, instead of running the 20 yards, he said, okay, I'm going to try to get into the end zone, even though he got an interception. But that's his mind. He didn't think about running anymore. Like he had to become more of a passer runner. Pass first, run second.
Right.
That's what most of these quarterbacks from the next generation is doing. Okay, I'm a pass first, but I will run if I have to. But Russell Wilson, just being for real, he should have took that run and just. Right now we'll be 7-2.
Okay.
But now we're 6-3.
Which is not a bad place to be. You know, in this short season.
We're in the best division right now. The West, the NFC West is the best division.
Yeah, they are. They are.
So it's hard. It's like you lose a game in the NFC West, it's hard to bounce back and to win that division. You got to win that division.
Yeah, because their teams, you know, it's almost like the NBA. It's a different style of play.
Right.
You know, the West plays in the NBA a faster game, right?
Yep.
A little faster, less concentrated on thought out plays, more of a run and shoot. Not that the whole NBA hasn't turned into a run and shoot playground looking thing to me, but it's different. The West Coast game is more quick. That's the best way I could describe it. The East Coast game is a little bit more thought out.
Yeah.
A little bit more thought out. It's a little slower. You know, you try to get everybody to touch the ball.
Yeah, half court. Half court.
Right.
Basketball, yep.
And it's the same thing in football. I think the West game is more of a passing game.
Yeah.
Instead of plays.
The West Coast offense.
Yeah.
That's what they call it, the West Coast offense. Invented by the Don Shula. Invented the West Coast. And like I said, it was different when it came into the NFL because, like you said, it was more of a look at the routes, understand the routes, run the plays, and that's it.
Right.
West Coast gun and shoot. You shoot gun. That's how it works. You go. You got a lot of out routes. You got a lot of, you know, you don't have curls and all that. You got out routes. You got
just
go. Is that West Coast offense, and then you got the running back that comes out for passes for the go route. So it was a different offense, and the NFL never seen it because they had to take linebackers and cover the running backs that's going all the way out.
Okay.
The linebackers stayed close to the line, you know, to the defensive line. They didn't really move. If you look at the history of the evolution of the defensive end to the linebacker, it's a whole different ball game because now the linebackers are looking like defensive ends because they line up as a defensive end. You know, so a lot of this evolution into football and basketball because you don't have a center in baseball anymore. I mean, in basketball, you don't even have a center. You have they call them stretch centers and stretch forwards. These guys are 7 foot tall and can go out like a guard and shoot a 3-point.
Right.
You know, I don't know if it's good or bad. What do you think? You think it's good or bad for the new evolution of fast-paced NFL, NBA? Even baseball is different now because now they got a review. You can review a pitch.
Right.
That never happened.
Right. Never happened before.
Yeah, I think you're taking away, me personally, I think you're taking away from the essence of the game. And you need to have players that's traditional. Like you need to have a center. You need to have a center on the team that can put his back to the basket, score, go in the post and score. We don't need a 7-footer out here bringing the ball up the court. I mean, it don't look right.
No.
It don't look right.
And you know what? And the other Anthony McLean, who, you know, was my frequent guest, we used to go back and forth about this because I had such an issue with LeBron's style of play. And he would tell me, "Oh, you're a LeBron hater." I'm like, no, I think what he does in the community is absolutely fantastic.
Oh yeah.
He's a great role model, even though he may not see himself that way. He's a great role model for young Black men and older Black men who need to get it together.
Right.
Married the high school sweetheart, doesn't have any children outside of the high school sweetheart, has not fooled around, brought his boys in to do business with him. So the person that he is, I have a lot of respect for.
Right.
But I don't like his game. You know, 7+ foot guy running down the court with the ball, handle it. No. That makes me leery. And it changed the game. It really started with Magic Johnson.
Right. Yeah.
It really started with Magic. And
the game was a wrap.
Yeah. And so when things got to the point of here we are, it's the 2000s, we're gonna put a little bit more, and that's part of the Allen Iverson piece, right? Iverson bought his brand of the game to the NBA.
Right.
And suddenly, the game started looking more like the basketball court down the street.
Yeah.
From the way that they dressed to come into the game, to the baggy shorts, the baggy long shorts, which came from colleges because you had those kids who, came from the so-called street with their pants hanging down and, long pants. And so it translated itself into the college courts,
right,
which translated into the NBA. A lot of people don't know that there was actually sort of the dress code rules were implemented because of Iverson.
Right.
This is the way he used to come to the games. You couldn't tell him from a spectator.
Right.
So, those who were in charge were not comfortable with the way that he looked.
Yeah, David Stern said, no.
Yeah.
Changed the whole dress code.
Changed the whole dress code.
Yeah.
So I think that was another part of changing the game. So now you put the ball in the hands of somebody who is 7'2".
Right.
Let him run the court. Let him act like a small forward.
Yeah.
It takes away a lot because then you have somebody who, he has the speed, he has the stamina. Age right now is not a factor for him.
Right.
Not too much because they know how to play it.
Mm-hmm.
But it leads a lot of people to believe that they can play the same kind of game. And not everybody has that talent. You might be in the NBA, but it doesn't necessarily mean that you are the one to shoot the 3-point shot. It doesn't mean that you are the one to clear the court and go down the lane and try to do that 3-pointer. It just does not make any sense. Not everybody can do that. Not everybody has the skill or the talent to do it.
Right.
But yet and still, that's what we see a lot of in the NBA.
Because you see in the draft, the NBA draft, James Wiseman, he's a 7'1" center, power forward, stretch forward, whatever you want to call it.
Right.
He's not your typical going to the post, bang with the player in the post. He can't be that because there's no room for him in the NBA.
Yeah.
There's no room for him. Nobody's doing that type of plays. You're not doing that type of plays in the NBA. They're stretching everybody out. They spread out, shoot threes, and that's it. That's the NBA. It's more offense than defense. If you touch them,
right, it's over. Yeah.
No, can't do it. So, me personally, I think that the evolving of the game is good for the offensive when you got scores of 140 to 150.
Right.
Looking at basketball scores, you've never seen that. I've never seen that in my life.
Well, I mean, back in the day, every now and then you'd get it. Like if Philly played Boston,
Yeah, but
Detroit against somebody. But that was rare.
Yeah.
Like you said, it wasn't a common occurrence. And it seems like now, we've got all kinds of things that are common occurrence in the NBA. And I'm not saying it's not good for the game, but it has changed the game in a way that it doesn't look like the NBA that I knew even 20 years ago, 15 years ago.
It's not competitive to me. Like you almost can pick out the teams that's going to win the division.
Right.
You can pick out the team that's going to make it to the championship. Like only reason that the Clippers didn't make it to the championship this year was because of the bubble. And most of them guys were stressed out and they
Right.
didn't want to be there. They didn't want to be in the bubble because a lot of people worrying about their family. You had COVID to deal with. So they was the better team. The LA Clippers was the best team this year. They should have won the championship. But in general, it was a different world. We dealt with COVID, whole different ball game. We can't look at it from the standpoint of it's an excuse for them, but at the same time, we already know if it was an 82 game season, they was going. There's no way the Lakers would have stayed up to the par like LeBron stayed up to the way he was, and continued to play the way they were playing going into the playoffs. It was no way.
Yeah,
I love the team. I love the Lakers, the way they were built. I'm not a Laker fan, but at the same time, I knew I respected that they was gonna make it. They're gonna be in the Western Finals. But I just knew the Clippers would have won the championship this year.
Yeah,
if they had a full season.
Yep. I am a Lakers fan, and I'm kind of torn. I'm kind of torn because, like I said, I wasn't. And it's hard for me to say that I'm not a LeBron fan in this instance.
Wow.
But yeah, it's hard.
They're gonna come out to you. Like they're gonna say, "How you a Laker fan, but you're not a LeBron fan, and he's on the Lakers?"
Because I just his style of play just doesn't resonate with me. It might, work with a lot of people, but it doesn't resonate with me. But at the same time, I think they did a great job in the rebuild. We've been waiting for them to rebuild and really have a team that could be cohesive because we haven't had that in a long time.
So what do you think about the championship? I mean, how you feel about this? Would they call it the COVID championship? How do you feel about that, the bubble championship?
I liked it.
Okay.
I liked it.
You think it was fair?
You know what else? I think that you really got to see the players. Mm-hmm. Do you understand what I mean by that? Like, I really got to see what they were talking about with Memphis and Philly and Boston. Mm-hmm. And I might not have had that same kind of thought or the way the game was shot. I could see the players. Mm-hmm. I could see their talent. I could see how they were playing the game. And for a long time with the NBA, that was rare. You'd watch a game, but it was like, and this is now with the remote, right? Run that back.
Yeah.
What did he do? Run that back.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But with this bubble and the way that the cameras were situated, I think you really had a different appreciation for the way the game was played.
Right.
And the like I said, I really got to see those cats in Boston do what they do, and they're a good team, and they're going to be something to reckon with in the next, the upcoming.
They missing one piece. I don't know what it is with Boston.
Yeah.
They missing one piece. I don't know if it's a big man, but they really is not a big man anymore. So I don't know if it's a big man or they missing another guard. They missing
it
something.
Might be a guard.
Yeah.
It might be a guard. And, the thing is, again, as we already talked about, the West Coast style of play is very different from the East.
Right.
And so when you look at Boston and they're very, to me, Boston and Philadelphia are very thought oriented. They're looking at the court. They're trying to figure out the plays. And I think that comes from the old school, traditional, who we are kind of reputation.
Yeah.
But the East game is slower. And so when you start to put a guard in the game that can really direct traffic a little bit, it moves better. And I think that's what Boston is missing because they're pretty quick.
Yeah,
I think they got a decent team, and they're going to be a force to be reckoned with. So what do you think of the number one pick?
Anthony Edwards. Well, we got the same name. I like that, Anthony. And he's actually from Georgia. He's from Georgia.
Yes.
So that's a good thing. He's from the South. So, and he's 6'5" with a 7-foot wingspan.
Wow, I didn't know that.
He's a guard, 6'5". He has a 7-foot wingspan. So that's crazy.
That is crazy. And in the past, the Timberwolves have had decent teams. They just couldn't pull it together.
Right.
But I used to like to watch them play. I think hopefully they'll build around this guy if he decides to stay.
But the thing about them, they don't want to pay money. It's a small market.
Yeah, that's true.
Owners in a small market team do not like to play their players. Kevin Garnett, I think, and maybe Kevin Garnett was the only player to ever come out of Minnesota with a nice contract.
Yeah.
And he was there for 12. I think he was there for 10 seasons. And then
he was there 10 seasons.
Yeah. So he was the only player that I know that went through the Minnesota system and made that type of money.
Yeah.
Back. Yeah. And that was still, and that's not you taking it to the new generation.
Right.
Or Anthony Towns, which I think he's going to get a big contract. If he might already have a big contract. I think he has like $100 million.
Yeah, it's something like that. Yeah.
But that's new generation money. That's really, if you look at the old generation, if you make $100 million back in the old generation when Kevin Garnett and them was playing, that's really like $1 billion almost.
Right.
That's a lot of money.
It was over X amount of years.
Yes, and it was a lot of money.
It's a lot of money.
You get $100 million 5-year contract. That's
right.
Nothing. After they take taxes out in Minnesota tax is crazy. So once they take taxes out, you don't get that many endorsements. You don't really, you come out with maybe $40 million. Maybe. Yeah. And then, like I said, just like baseball players, basketball players have mistress, girlfriends, a wife, 10 kids, 20 kids. They do the same thing. I mean, they do the same thing. They make, they try to make that money. I mean, they have to make that money.
Yeah.
To survive. And then you in Minnesota market, most likely you're going to have a girlfriend or a wife in LA, California.
Right.
One of the bigger markets.
Right.
That's where you're going to do a lot of your traveling, your off season.
Right.
So, and your vacation. You're going to be meeting, you're going to probably meet your spouse somewhere in a bigger market. New York, Boston. So you're going to be spending a lot of money. So you make $100 million in Minnesota. Hey, you really made $20 million. At the end of the day, you might
if it boils.
You better invest very well.
Yeah. I just think that the NBA, it has changed. I think it's changed. I want to say it's almost like a 60-40 proposition for me. Right. 60% positive, 40% negative. Because like I keep saying, it's just hard for me to watch games, but I think this series, I think the guys really did play basketball in the playoffs because I think they really wanted to be there. You had a few people who said, I'm not staying in no bubble. I'm not doing this. It's COVID, as you said earlier. But I think the ones that stayed really, truly wanted to play.
Like Miami Heat.
He wanted the championship.
Like the Miami Heat. In realistic terms, if you look, me and you both know, in real life, if we was doing an 82-game season, Miami Heat wouldn't made.
Right, they wouldn't have been there.
They wouldn't have been there. Boston would have probably been there, or Milwaukee.
Yeah.
But due to the fact that you're dealing with a half season, you're dealing with mental illness. I mean, a lot of them players had mental illness. They couldn't get to, and then a lot of them couldn't deal with they didn't have their spouse with them.
Yeah.
They didn't have their family with them. They used to having that.
Yeah.
You were around, 400 guys every day in a bubble.
That's a lot.
That's a lot. When you used to have your wife around, your girlfriend, right? Whatever.
That's a lot.
You gotta look at that too. So a lot of that mental, it was a lot of mental on these guys. So end of the day, when they went to go play, if you didn't have that toughness, you seen the teams that had the toughness, right? See Miami, Jimmy Butler, all them guys, they was ready, and they almost got it. They almost pulled it off. If you really look at it, I mean, they won 2 games. I didn't think they were gonna win 2 games against the Lakers. I'm just being for real. And they swept.
Well, you know what? I would disagree with you only in the respect that they had the mental toughness.
Yeah, they had it.
They had it. I mean, I think Boston had it, and I think they had it, and I think the Lakers had it.
Lakers had it. Boston, Miami. The teams that didn't have it, you can tell, was Milwaukee.
Yeah.
Clippers, LA Clippers.
Yeah.
And I think Denver had it too. Denver had it. They had
Denver had it. They played a good series.
They played a very good series. They was one of the teams I was like, wow, if they win the championship this year, I'll be like, whoa.
Well, again, I think the way, like I said, it for me, looking at that court, I could really see the way that people played. You know, usually NBA games are shot so far. It's very rare that you can actually see the physicality of a player.
Right.
And see also, you know, the skill that goes into the game.
Right.
And I think this year, the way the game was shot, you could see it. And it made a difference. Right. You know, because I was definitely watching every night. Every time there was a game on, even if it wasn't the Lakers, I was still watching the games.
Because, like you said, the crowd took away from actually watching the game when you
watch
the TV. Because you looking, the entertainment side of it is the crowd.
Yeah.
And the mascots over here, you got the cheerleaders over there. You know, I'm looking at the cheerleaders. You know, and then the game's still going on. We'll be looking at the cheerleaders. So my whole thing is like, you're right. You was able to really see the plays and the players and how they really played. Now you could tell, wait a minute, I thought he was good.
Right.
He's not really good. This guy can't even shoot. So you can see if they can shoot or not. Like you can't shoot. You can shoot when there's fans in the building, but you can't shoot when there's no fans. So yeah, I was able to see a lot of different things in the game of certain players. Really, like I was really able to see that. So that was good. That was good. You're right. That was good. Only thing that I missed was the cheerleaders. I missed the cheerleaders. And yeah, that killed me.
You should have gotten that. Well, no, I was gonna say you should have gotten it in the NFL, but there were no cheerleaders on the sideline.
There's no cheerleaders in the NFL either.
There's not.
That's what I'm
all that away.
Even the ring girls in boxing, you don't even see the ring girls in boxing like UFC. Like I'm missing that. That's what I'm missing. I'm missing all that.
And there's some bouts coming up. Speaking of boxing, oh my goodness, I can't think of who it is. But there's some real bouts coming up.
Oh, you got Earl Spence and Danny Garcia, welterweights.
Yes.
You got the Gypsy King. Hopefully, he should be fighting. He might be fighting. He will be fighting this year, but they don't know who he's fighting yet.
Yeah, right.
So
I'm looking forward to that too. I wanted. A couple of years ago, I wanted to be a ring announcer. I still might pursue that.
Yeah, I think you would be good. Yeah, you hold a good conversation. So
thank you.
You have a good, you have that good commentating voice.
Thank you. I think that would be cool. So I would do that. But my mother told me, she said, never wear a white suit and sit up front at a boxing match. Because if you sit up front and somebody gets hit real good, all that's going to come on you.
It's coming on you. It's automatic going to come on you. Got white.
It's going to come on you. So sit like 5, 6, 7 rows back, wear a dark color, and you're good.
They're going to spit on you anyway. Even though you might be, like you said, you might be to that right or to that left. They're going to see you with that white suit on, and once they take a hit, they're going to spit right on you because they mad at you for having a white suit on, and plus they getting whooped in the ring right now, so they mad all the way around. So they're gonna be like, you know what? Where that lady?
Where's that white suit?
White suit on. I'm gonna spit right on her with this blood. So it's gonna be blood and spit and all types of sweat and everything. Yeah. You're right. Your mother gave you the greatest. That's the greatest advice,
right?
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah.
That's definitely great advice.
I'm looking forward to those, even though it's pay-per-view.
Yeah,
looking forward to those, and I'm interested in this NBA season because it's gonna start December 22nd, I think.
I don't know if it's gonna be fans. I don't know if they're doing a bubble.
I think they're gonna go back to the bubble.
They're going back to a bubble?
I think they are. We'll find out in a couple of weeks.
It's gonna be rough because now you gotta put 32 teams, 34 teams or whatever. So now you gotta put that many in a bubble? Oh no. Mentally, they ain't gonna work. 72.
You know what? I think it'll work if they do it by the leagues. You know, like the teams in the West, teams, Southwest.
Because you gotta be able to travel.
Whatever conference.
Mentally, you're gonna have to be able to travel. Maybe if they do a bubble of 6 states or 7 states, and you can play, all the 20-some teams on this side can play in this one bubble. This is your home game, your away game, but you traveling. At least you traveling. Mentally, you'll be ready.
Yeah. Like
the NFL, they still traveling, so they ready. They just don't have. Well, they do have fans in some spots, but they still, they still can see fans and see people and travel at the same time. So I can see that. I can see the NFL, NBA, because the Warriors said they're gonna have fans.
Well, the NFL has had fans.
Yeah, the Warriors say they're
gonna. The NFL has had fans. Yeah.
I don't know how they're gonna do it with Governor what's his name? Mayor Cruz? No, I forgot the governor of California. He's very strict. He's very strict. I don't think they're gonna be able to have fans. He's gonna be like, nope, no fans.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how they work that out because again, we're talking revenue, and nobody really wants to lose that revenue.
Right.
So it's an issue of how do we make the money, and how many fans do we let in without it being something that disrupts revenue. Because it's already disrupted.
With COVID still on, vaccines are not going to probably be ready for the next couple months, probably toward the end of the year. So, sports, what is your take on sports going into 2021? What are your take on it from, just all sports, like racing? Are we going to have? I
think you're not, some sports are just not going to have a year. Some sports, because they're outdoor sports. I can see you doing horse racing without the crowds, just like they did the Masters without the crowds, the Masters was good this year.
Yeah, because there was no crowd, because you can sit there and not listen to people, and that guy shot 20 par?
Yeah.
That's never been done in the Masters history.
In the history.
Think about it. Even Tiger Woods did good this year.
Yeah.
He really did good this year. Any other year,
he still didn't make the cut.
He still didn't make the cut. So think about it. That's what I'm saying. Think about the golf. Think about soccer. You have no fans in the crowd with soccer. You're looking at the goals is 8-2, 9-2. You're like, wait a minute, 9-9, 8-9. The scores are so high. So there's no competition because the fans make and break the competition of the game.
I think that everybody will adapt.
Mm-hmm.
I feel bad for high school kids.
Oh yeah, that's my son is one of them. He's one. He a basketball player, football player, and still I'll be tired looking at him. I'll be like, man, you need to get out of this house and do something. I'm tired of looking at you. I might feel basketball go in a football court or something. Something.
Yeah, I feel bad for the kids because they're not getting to have their season, and so it's tough on them, especially the seniors, who've been preparing so that they could, if they have plans on playing on the college level, this was kind of their year to kind of cap that off.
Yeah, get scholarships. Yeah.
Yeah, and they're not going to get that opportunity. Mm-hmm. So I think when you start to talk about pro sports, though, I think some things are just going to be eliminated, and then other things, especially the outdoor sports, are not going to have crowds.
Right.
I just think that's the way it's going to be.
So, like you said, I think at the end of the day, the fans is going to be, because even watching on TV, just being for real.
Right.
Watch basketball, football on TV is no there's no competition, period.
Yeah.
It's not competitive to me. Because crowd noise drives and moves and make the momentum. It helps with the momentum of the game. If there's no momentum, the game is not really.
It's not moving.
It's not moving.
And we're gonna have to end there.
Yep. My
time's up. But thank you, Ant-Man.
You're welcome.
This was fun.
Yeah, I already got you on contract, so yeah. I'll be coming up here a lot. I'll be coming and talking sports.
Well, anytime you need me to come and talk sports, next time I'll be better prepared. I promise.
All right.
All right. Mm-hmm. But thank you.
You're welcome.
This has been The Collective, the sports edition, here on WSME Enlightenment Radio. Thanks again to Ant-Man for pitching in and talking sports.
All right.
Thanks, Doc. Appreciate you. This has been The Collective.
All right. Good night.
Good night.